On this week's Xamarin Show, I have my good friend Jon Dick on all the way from Canada to tell us about AndroidX. Welcome back, everyone, to the Xamarin Show. I'm your host, James Montemagno, and I have one of my favorite Canadian friends in the entire world, Jon Dick. How's it going, buddy?
Hey.
This is your first time on the Xamarin Show, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised I haven't been here sooner, but it's nice to be here.
Yeah, we had you on. You blog all the time, everything about Android. We had you on the .NET Community Stand-Up recently to show off a lot of cool upcoming features. So I figured I'd have you on to talk about AndroidX. What the heck is it? What does it mean for Xamarin developers? But first, maybe, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I've been in the Xamarin community for quite a few years now, since the Mono Touch days and earlier. And then I finally took the leap and joined Xamarin a few years back, before the whole Microsoft transition and everything. But yeah, I've been coding on mobile apps since that first iPhone came out. It really captured my attention, and I've just loved doing it ever since.
And now you're the lead of our components team, is that correct?
Yeah, so engineering lead, and we maintain a number of different things. A lot of it seems to be lately like the whole Google ecosystem is just so large on Android outside of the core Android. But they also have a lot of iOS APIs that we maintain. And then there's some other just various frameworks and SDKs like Facebook and everything from like SD web image and all these other little bits and pieces that people want to use, and we let our users use these native frameworks in their Xamarin apps, and we help them with that.
And don't forget Xamarin Essentials, everybody's favorite cross-platform
Xamarin
library.
Essentials as well, yeah, absolutely. So that was a big team effort, and obviously you helped out a lot with that too, and continue to. So it's been we do a lot of different neat kind of small, sometimes big things, and it's a lot of fun on our team for sure.
Absolutely, and you're probably using, if you're a Xamarin developer, you're using Jon's software, his team's software. Anywhere between all those support libraries, the Facebook, all those things, essentials, right, including every template. And I mean, every single Android developer, when they do file new, they get this plethora, this cornucopia, if you will, of, it may be starting as a plethora right now, but maybe it's moving to a cornucopia, of Android support libraries. What is going on in the Android support library world, and what's coming up?
Yeah, so Google has historically moved more and more things to the Android support libraries as mostly as a way to combat fragmentation. So you always hear this term fragmentation, and what does that mean in the Android world, right? So everyone kind of thinks, oh, you're stuck with this version of Android and nothing new can come to it, and that's just how it is always going to be for a certain device. Well, Google has made these support libraries, is what they initially called them. And the aim of them really was to bring new features to older API levels, to older versions of Android. And this really allowed developers to use all these new cool APIs, a lot of new widgets. We saw the material design controls come to the support libraries. And this really enabled all of the developers to bring all these features and make a consistent experience in their apps, no matter what the API level was that the Android user was running.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite it's kind of like my favorite and yet least favorite part about Android, because there's so many versions and things to keep track of. But it is really nice that I don't have to wait for a brand new version of Android to drop to get new features. So I think that is one of the unique parts of the Android ecosystem. But from my understanding, Google I/O and even before the last year, there's all these kind of terminologies of like Jetpacks and AndroidX and like support libraries are going away, but they're not really going away. Like, what is this shenanigans?
Yeah, so because they've moved more and more things into support libraries, for one, we've seen this kind of creeping of more and more and more libraries, and Google's really done this to try and keep them in as small pieces as possible so you can pick and choose what you want. Now, these became such a big part of Android development, it's almost impossible to create an Android app these days without support libraries. And especially if you're pulling in third-party dependencies, all of those other library authors had to use support libraries themselves because most of the people consuming their libraries needed them in their apps. So we've seen this world where now support libraries aren't really like this additional thing. You have to make an app with support libraries. You almost have no choice. And because of that, Google seemed to feel that The name support wasn't really telling of what these things were. They're now like almost a core part of Android, but of course they don't want to include all these APIs in the core Android itself because then they can't ship them as rapidly. Since they're all in their own libraries, they can keep improving on them, iterating, releasing outside of Android itself. So we don't have to wait, every year for a new Android API level to come out for new features. So they've moved into this world now. They're calling this Android Jetpacks, and Android Jetpacks is just kind of a term, a marketing term, kind of, if you will, for these AndroidX libraries. And AndroidX is the successor of Android support. So it's largely a rename, but they've definitely shifted some APIs to different libraries around and kind of made new divisions in the libraries themselves.
Yeah.
And now we're in this world where, these jetpacks are kind of, a mix of Google becoming more opinionated in how they think that you should architect your app, but also just kind of elevating the name of these things to be what they really are, because they're really important to every developer.
It's sort of like they're the Xamarin Essentials for Android, in a way.
Yeah, exactly. Like you must use it.
And they have a website for it too, right? Let me go and grab your screen up here. I can grab over to it. Yeah, so this is the full website where people can go and like learn all about it, right?
Yeah, so Android Jetpacks, and you can definitely see all of the different items that are available in Jetpacks. And when you start looking at the Jetpack components here, this is really where they start breaking things down into the separate APIs. So we've got this, the new Camera X API. This is a new AndroidX library. We didn't have this in support. We have still our good old friend AppCompat. There's stuff for notifications, for media. There's newer emoji libraries that were in support, but are still kind of something that not everyone knew about. And of course, we've got Fragment. This Fragment is one of the main reasons that developers needed to go support libraries in the first place. So yeah, here's all the different bits and pieces, and you can see the APIs behind them and kind of how to use each one of them.
Gotcha. Yeah, a lot of these are looking familiar, but not all of them. So I'm going to have to go and actually check these out myself. So what does this mean for like Xamarin developers then? Like, do we have AndroidX, or like, what does it look like?
Yeah, so it's been a large effort between a couple different teams. I mean, my components team that I'm on, we've spent a lot of time on this. Matthew from my team has spent countless hours trying to make this experience really pleasant for our developers. And we think we have a good solution. We're on track to deliver a really nice way for our Xamarin developers to consume these libraries. So the first part of it starts with the bindings to the libraries themselves. So we actually have to take these native libraries and figure out how do we expose those to our C# runtime. And how do our developers consume these Java APIs from C#, right? So that's the binding part of it. And we've been working on those for quite a while now. We've pretty much completed them. There's a few little polishing bits here and there that we're still looking at. But for the most part, the bindings are done. And now the harder part is more the migration step of how do you actually get your app to use these new APIs. Now, Google did an interesting thing here with their own world, with their own Java developers, and they've made a tool that helps their developers migrate over to these new APIs. So if you're a Java developer and you had an app, you might use some of the Android support APIs. And now if you want to migrate to AndroidX, Google has this one-time migration wizard that you can run that will take all of your Java code, all of your resource, like your XML layout files, all of your ProGuard rules, all of your Android manifest files, and it will migrate those things over for you to use the new sets of code. So that's part of the process, is updating your own code to do this. The other part of it is what happens if you have third-party references that haven't migrated themselves yet, right?
Yeah.
And not a lot of libraries have already made that jump yet, because they still probably have a lot of developers that they don't want to alienate. They don't want to say, hey, we're going to break you now. You got to move with us or else. And Google recognized that this would be a problem. So they also accounted for this, and they have another part of their migration process that actually migrates the Java bytecode of all of the third-party assemblies that your app consumes. So if I'm using like the Facebook SDK, for instance, it'll go and actually, after those dependencies get downloaded, they'll actually migrate the Java bytecode for you as part of that.
Wow.
And so, this is how the Java world works. And we have a few more challenges on top of that, because obviously we're creating bindings and we're doing different things. We have to do that same part that Google's doing, converting the Java bits themselves over and all the bytecode that's in there. But we also have to convert our own C# bindings to these third-party APIs. So, for instance, we ship a Facebook SDK binding. That's something that we maintain and support. And so if you pull that in as a dependency in your app, we also have to make those C# binding types converted over for you to be the proper AndroidX types.
Gotcha.
So we're writing these build tasks that will happen in MS Build as part of your application, and this is going to do all the work for you and do all those migration steps for you, both in the C# and the .NET managed layer, but also the underlying native Java bytecode layer.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Do you want to walk us through it? I know you have at least a nice little demo kind of pulled up over there.
Yeah. Let's. I've got this Hello Jetpacks Demo, we're calling it, and it's just a simple solution. It's basically a file new project. But I want to show you first. Let's try running it on just the normal mode, how it would appear using Android support libraries. Nothing special. This is something that you've probably seen a million times, but it's good to kind of look at some of the base underlying parts of it. So for instance, we've got this main activity here. That's kind of our entry point for our Xamarin Forms app. And as soon as I can launch this thing here, we'll start building it. We'll launch it on a device, and we'll take a look and kind of see that, okay, we've got this main activity, which inherits from Forms app compat activity. And when we actually step through the debugger process and we take a break here at this call, we can start to inspect the item at runtime. So I've got my trusty Visor app open here. There's not a whole lot to see, but and I'm using preview versions of tools, so they. Okay, we've got our app launched here, and now that we're stepping through this, we'll pause on this line here, and we'll take a look at this local, and you can see, yep, it's a Forms app compat activity. But if we take a look one layer lower, we can actually see that it's an Android support v7 app compat activity. So that's expected. That's what we want to see. So Xamarin Forms itself is depending on Android support, and we haven't done anything to change Xamarin Forms itself over. But now if we go in and we can add some NuGet packages, for instance, we can add the AndroidX migration package. Let me just scroll down through the list.
So these are like all of the AndroidX. There's even more packages than ever now, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we can add this package in, and now we are going to be offering a migration wizard in the future too, so that you could take your project and say, hey, I want to go all in on AndroidX, migrate me over, do the right things, help me out. But for now, if we're just doing like a one-off thing, we can add that migration package, and it's going to come in and tell us as we're building which other AndroidX packages we need to install. So for instance, we don't have the app compat, the Xamarin AndroidX app compat NuGet package, and that's the one that's needed if we're referencing the Android support v7 app compat one. So we could go and add all those packages individually. I'm going to do a little bit of cheating here and just do this manually quickly. Let's go make a new item group here, and we'll paste in just a big list of all the packages that I know I already need.
Yeah, so if you were going through, basically you would say, okay, well, it says I need these 5 packages, go install this package, install this package, install this package, basically, right?
Yeah, so you can see here I've added the AndroidX app compat, I've added the browser, card view media, blah, blah, blah. I've already got the migration package in there, but I've added it back as well as I'm overwriting this project file.
Yeah.
And then there's this other kind of weird one, which is Google kind of diverged from their naming, and the material design stuff is its own separate new package now as well. So this is like material design 2.0.
Google divert from namings? I've never seen that ever. Now, this is interesting because those packages are living side by side your existing packages. It's not like you deleted the old packages and brought in new packages.
Right.
And that's because Xamarin Forms is using the old packages and not the AndroidX packages, right? It's like that. That's what you're talking about, is why they have that little swizzling, if you will, in a way.
Yeah, so what our tasks are doing here, and yet now you'll notice that this is kind of interesting because we didn't actually have to change any of our code to make this run. Now, I don't have any Android support code referenced here, but if we did, I wouldn't have had to change it. So this is something that we've gone a little bit farther, and we've tried to make that experience really delightful for our developers to kind of say, hey, I want to start doing this AndroidX thing, but maybe I don't want to migrate all of my code immediately.
Yeah.
That maybe seems like a lot of work that I'm not prepared for. So you can actually, it's kind of weird because you can reference both the old APIs and the new ones at the same time, and we'll actually do that code replacement for you at build time. So you would, if you had a reference to an app, a v7 app compat activity here, that would all compile as is without changing. But at runtime, you would actually see that it's now an AndroidX app compat activity.
Gotcha. And now kind of in this output, maybe moving fast for a few people. I see like some AndroidX things inside of here, And like that obviously took a little bit longer, so I had to restore all the NuGet packages and do all this crazy stuff that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, so that did all the special bits and pieces, and now when we come back to our locals view here, if we inspect this, okay, still got a Forms app compat activity, that didn't change, but now we've got this AndroidX app compat app compat activity, and so at runtime this has actually been changed for us, and at build time it's been changed for us into this AndroidX type, and now you'll the key thing to note here is, like I said, Xamarin Forms, we didn't get a different version of Xamarin Forms here, right? Xamarin Forms is still built against Android support libraries, and just like any other third-party dependency you would have consumed that was built against Android support, we didn't have to go get a new version of that. We didn't have to ask those developers to update for us. Yeah. All we had to do is come in here and add our migration package and add our AndroidX packages, and now we're good to go. So we're doing all of that, that underlying conversion for you at build time.
Very cool. That's awesome. I mean, I like that I don't have to do anything. It tells me what I need to do, easy, a little bit, nice, easy way of being like, hey, I want to upgrade, but I don't want to change everything. And also, there's a huge ecosystem of developers out there and packages that you're probably using, and probably don't want to have to ask every single developer out there to update their package, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Awesome, John. This is amazing. It blows my mind. And people can get it, today, right? It's in 16. Visual Studio 2019 something.
Preview 3. We've got some packages available. You'll have to be in 16.3 of Visual Studio, and you should be good to use it from there.
Awesome. Well, thank you, John, so much for coming on and showing us all the awesome AndroidX stuff, and also, more importantly, just kind of talking about what it is and how it uses it, because I think there's still a lot of confusion on it, and it makes a lot more sense to me now.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in to this week's Xamarin Show. Of course, I'll put all the links to the show notes down there and how you can get your hands on AndroidX today. Thanks for tuning, and this has been the Xamarin Show. Hey, James here. Just wanted to check in and thank you for watching this video. Now do all the things that you want to do, such as like, subscribe, and ding that notification bell to become part of the notification squad. While you're here, check out all these awesome videos that I've already recorded. Click on that thing. Click it. Watch it. Do it.